It's the bout you've all been waiting for since the dawn of time. Vegas Fanboy. Vegas Fanboy. Face to face.
No. We're not face to face.
Oh.
This is just a Skype call. It's not even a video call, so there's no faces. It's just chatting, with our mouths.
Can I try again?
Sure.
It's the bout you've been waiting for since the dawn of time. Vegas Fanboy. Vegas Fanboy. Mouth to mouth.
Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, forget it. We'll do something else.
Actually, I kind of liked it.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess we'll get into the show then. What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Vegas Fanboy Show, episode number 3, 661 Days to Vegas.
Oh, shit.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. As mentioned by my colleague already, we're talking to Adam, aka Vegas Fanboy, aka Travel Fanboy on today's show. He'll be answering 10 questions. We'll also be looking at top 5 views in Las Vegas as far as my opinion goes. I'm sure we'll have a bit of an argument about it on Twitter afterwards. And finally, gambling around the world this week, as I mentioned last time, is going to take us to Bear Country, Tallinn in Estonia. So I'm just going to bring the music up because that's how these things seem to roll, and then we'll get on with it. Alright, sweet. We made it to episode 3. You would not believe how quickly this is making my time pass. 7.2%, almost 7.3% of my time has already passed. And while I'm not looking to wish my life away, this is pretty fucking encouraging. Before we get into the meat of this podcast sandwich, I want to thank Mitch and Dr. Kev from Tipping the Odds. I know for a fact that I've gained new listeners because you were tweeting about me, so thank you very much. At this point of time, I'd like to invite a very privileged guest. His name's Adam Bauer. You may know him as Vegas Fanboy. Welcome to the show, mate. Is this weird for you?
No, not in the slightest. I think it's fun.
Good.
No.
That's good. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
As I said before, I hadn't had any sort of intention to do this in the slightest. It's just a little bit of fun. I mean, you and I had, and you won't remember this because obviously you have thousands of adoring fans, but we had a little bit of, of an interaction on Twitter years ago when I first came across you.
Really?
Yeah, we discussed the bunker.
Okay.
for I don't know, for an hour maybe.
Yeah.
Two or three tweets back and forth. So yeah, a tiny little dot on the spec of Vegas Fanboy.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was like just after I started, I think.
Yeah, so I started listening to yours, and then as happens, you have other people on your show, you're on other people's shows, and you get to find out about everything else. So
yeah, that's been the most fun part of it, for me at least. It's just kind of just meeting everybody, interacting with people. That's been the best for me.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's been awesome to talk to people.
Yeah.
Certain people, not everyone's interested, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But there definitely seems to be a sort of core group of enthusiastic, welcoming individuals who both run podcasts and don't run podcasts that have been, just welcoming me with open arms into it, which has been awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I've met most of the people that run a podcast or a blog related to Vegas. I think even the ones that, aren't, I don't want to say standoffish, but to just more kind of keep to themselves, those people, still super nice in person, great to talk to. So.
I'm sure. So when you started the Vegas Fanboy podcast, was it your aim to reach as far as you did? You were invited to, would you do a live Vimp show?
Yeah, I did that.
And won a trip or shared a trippy with.
I did, yeah. That's
Mark and Dr. Mike.
The fact that it's shared still burns a little bit, but
does it?
Yeah, no. I honestly, I had no idea what was going to happen. It was just I'll do this for fun. I wanted to learn kind of the ins and outs of online content, developing that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it just kind of morphed into something that I was passionate about, had fun with, and I guess I kind of hit a stride a little bit and it connected with people in a way that maybe I wasn't really anticipating. And so I enjoyed doing it quite a bit.
I came into it quite late. Is it almost 5 years you were doing it for?
3, 4, 3?
Okay.
Maybe? I think only 3.
Almost 5.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So broadening your horizons now, moving into the whole world of travel rather than just traveling to Vegas.
Right. Yeah. So actually, it's funny because I was going to drop this little exclusive on your show. One other person knows about this right now.
Whoa.
But I'm planning on coming back to kind of travel podcasting in late January of 2018.
Awesome.
yeah, so I decided I was going to pivot a little bit. I had thought about doing more finance work. That's what I do in my day job is I coordinate personal finance education. And it just became, I was writing about finance after work, and it just became a slog because I was doing it during the day anyway. But travel is something that I enjoy.
Yeah,
I think it connects a lot of people. People, really have a passion for it. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get out to Vegas that much in the future, but I am going to travel quite a bit still.
Yeah, sure.
My wife and I have 3-4 trips kind of in the pipeline already. So I'm like, I'll talk about, budget travel in general, talk about different places and things like that. I have to apologize because Chris from Faces and Aces was the first person that knew. Slightly before you and this recording. But so I'm looking forward to that. Again, I have tempered expectations for how that's going to turn out, but hopefully it'll be some fun.
You'll have a starting fan base that will probably lap it up straight away. I mean, you must have thousands of people, millions of people listening to you on a monthly basis. So that'll be surely the right call, is to cater to that already existing audience than go. Because I've got to be honest, I may well have listened to one episode because I like you, and then I may have waned off had you been talking about finance, because it's not something that piques my interest whatsoever.
Right. No, and I totally connect with it. Yeah. And honestly, the finance space is so crowded too. Not that like travel isn't, of course. I want to do something outside of my work that I have fun with. And you're right. Yeah. I do expect, though, that there's going to be quite a few people that drop off and don't make the transition with me. The same with the website, only because for them, it's Vegas or bust, and I can totally appreciate that.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
But you're right. I think for me, what's nice is just I know how to get started. All the things I did wrong in the first 8 episodes, I can't wait to not do those things when I launch this one.
Excellent. Can you remember exactly what they might be? Help a newbie out here.
Yeah, well, I mean, a couple of these you can't go back on. I'm gonna record about 5 or 6 episodes and publish them all at once, right at the beginning. So there's already a predetermined backlog. But beyond that, I don't really know how much I'm going to change.
Excellent. All right. Okay. How about we jump into 10 questions with a Vegas fanboy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 questions. Question 1: if money was no object, where would you stay?
This one's easy. Just Cosmo wraparound suite every time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you stayed in one before?
I've not, and I don't think they're that inaccessible in terms of just financially speaking. But it's it's just at the point where I'm like, it's not worth that couple extra $100. I'd rather spend it on X, Y, or Z. A couple other cocktails, another session or 2 at the table. But I just that view. The Cosmo's a great property. I think that's kind of the easy choice.
Yeah, I agree. On my last trip, I surprised my wife with a night at a wraparound suite. And it was in the smaller of the 2 towers. So the front tower, is that the east tower? It's the east tower, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, east tower, cracking fountain view. There's actually a segment later on in this show about views, which I'll be talking a little bit more detail about that, because the top 5 this week is top 5 views.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Nice. Was that in May? Did you do that in the May trip? Cinco de Mayo, Mayweather-Pacquiao trip?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, we went March last year.
March. But you were there that weekend, though, right?
No, I wasn't. I was there for a Mayweather fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend, the 2 previous years, not the Pacquiao fight. So maybe we weren't in at the same time.
Because if we were at the same time, that would have been very funny.
Yeah, it would have been. I don't think it's true, though, sadly.
Okay. All right. Unfortunately.
Maybe we'll make it happen in the future.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite buffet?
No, I don't. And I think I've only been to a couple buffets in Las Vegas. That's probably blasphemy, but I'm not a big buffet guy. And I think I tried on a last bachelor party when I was with a bunch of buddies, and we wanted to go to Caesars. Of course, we didn't have a reservation. And for our group size, literally it said on the pad, 3.5 hour wait. And we're like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But no, I usually get a light breakfast. I grab something, a cup of coffee, a pastry, whatever, and I'm good to go. So no, I'm not a big buffet person.
No, me either. But if you've done some, there must be a favourite. Surely one of them was the best one you had.
Oh, here's how sad it is. I think I've only been like 2 buffets, so Excalibur is the best out of the 2.
There we go.
The other one is Flamingo. I've been there twice. Or no,
Why?
I've been there how many times? No. Okay, no, I haven't been there twice. Hang on. Let me go back. I've been there once. My wife's been there twice. I went once. We ordered our drinks right when we sat down from the waitress. We did not get our drinks the entire time we were there. My wife went back again. She was there for a conference. She was at the link. There was nowhere to eat, so she's like, crap, I just have to go back to this buffet and grab something quick. She again did not get her drink order by the time she left the buffet. So twice in a row. It's a terrible buffet.
Excalibur buffet, Vegas Fanboy's favorite buffet.
Process of elimination, we got there.
Well, no, not even by process of elimination. Just that's your favorite. That's done. Excellent.
Yeah, that's a good headline you can bring in for the show.
This is top-notch journalism. Best pool experience.
Best pool experience. I typically say MGM Grand's pool, although I think
this was a leading question. This was you'd say that.
I will say though, the Cosmos Boulevard pool is a really, really cool pool, but it's the complex itself is a bit small. The service is great at the Cosmo. I think before MGM, I think Monte Carlo was right on par with it too. The Lazy River, that's what gets me.
Yeah.
So inexpensive cabanas, food and beverage credit anytime you rent like a chair or a cabana, whatever, at MGM Grand's pool. You got the Lazy River there. It's a good, inexpensive day. I've talked about it many times.
You have the Lazy River there if you go at the right time of year.
Right.
If you go in March and you listen to your good friend Adam talk about how good the MGM cabana suite rental is because of the food and beverage minimums, that you book one and you request one on the Lazy River and they say, oh yeah, we'll do our best, sir. And you turn up and the Lazy River isn't even fucking open. Still, we had a good day. I mean, the service was amazing. The food is good. Yeah. The drinks were good. There were only 4 of us, so we got pretty drunk trying to hit that minimum.
Oh, yeah.
And some skank fucked some dude in the cabana next to us, so that was good.
Wait, was there any water in it? It just wouldn't turn on? It was empty? What's going on?
I don't know. It didn't even get over there.
Okay.
So we were there mid to late March, and they hadn't opened it for the pool season yet.
That's I was there one March and they had it open. Bummer, man.
That is why you get the big bucks, and I'm still scrabbling around.
That's right. They knew I was coming. They're
exactly.
They got all the hoses on, and
Leading on from that, what is, in your opinion, the best time of year to visit Vegas?
I like the spring a lot, only because of how many things are going on. Just with like March Madness, I think is a really cool time to be there, but it gets packed. But if you were talking like from a budget standpoint, the holiday time, like between the holidays in November, December, it's empty. And a lot of good deals to be had, but you don't get the good people watching anymore, and you can run into kind of a cold Vegas, if you will. So I tend to like the springtime. A little expensive, but really cool time. Yeah,
I've only ever been March and May, so I tend to agree with you. When I asked Chris from Faces and Aces this next question, we had a good 5 minutes of dead air while he pondered his answer. I'm not even exaggerating that. It was embarrassing. Strip or downtown?
Oh, for what? Are we staying gambler? Just everything?
Hey, one exists and the other one is just obliterated off the planet.
Oh, again, as a budget person, I'm probably gonna get some flack for this. I still say the Strip.
Yeah.
I think that's why I fell in love with Las Vegas. Just kind of the grandiose themed resorts, and some of that's going away a little bit, but just. How ostentatious some of it was. Like it's just very cool to be there. I love downtown. I love hanging out down there. It's a party scene. It's cool, but I'm still a bit more comfortable day to day with all the amenities and things of the Strip. So I'm gonna say Strip.
Good. Well, not good. I mean, I don't care what you say, but that's a good answer. That's a good answer. You know, my aim with this conversation was to summarize your entire 78 episode series in sort of 15 minutes. And then people can just listen to this episode and you can delete your entire back catalogue.
Right. Well, we've already got the MGM Cabana, so that's good.
Yeah, that's in there.
Yeah.
Penn or Teller?
I've never seen it. I prefer whoever the one that doesn't talk is, because that's how I generally like to be around people a lot of the time. So I'll go with that guy.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I would love to sit next to him at the bar. He'd be my favorite patron.
I went to see their show once, and they do a fantastic come and meet us and we'll talk to you and sign pictures and stuff after every show, I believe. And yet Teller does speak to people, and I was a little bit surprised by that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so he can talk. He does talk. Turns out it's an act.
Oh,
So,
interesting. Well, he's not really a mute.
Yeah.
Huh.
Question 7. We're railing through this one.
Yeah, we are getting through this. Yeah.
Yeah. Slots or shoot to win craps?
Oh, shoot to win craps every time.
Yeah.
I just can't get into slots. I get it. And honestly, a couple of them, the newer ones that are coming out are a bit more engaging for me. I tend to like watching the bonus, so I'll do like a slot call for maybe like a team slot thing, but it's pretty rare to never, I think maybe once or twice in my casino going experience, have I ever sat down alone at a slot machine and played for any significant amount of time.
Yeah, well, my loyal listeners will know that I hate slot machines. But I also hate shoot to win craps because it's not actual craps.
That's
And
true.
I love actual craps. So I appreciate from a low rolling perspective. You kind of pigeonholed yourself, mate. If you ever come into some serious money and you can just drop, $100,000 a hand or something, people are going to get seriously disappointed.
Well, that's funny because I have to tell people like this is a choice. It's not like a necessity for me. My wife and I, you don't have to send us any care package or anything. We're doing just fine. And I think if people saw some of the other vacations and things we took, they'd be like, this doesn't seem like Adam. But no, I think that's one of my things is just I'm always out looking for a good deal.
Yeah.
And I think Vegas is really cool with that because with everything, there's just so much math involved, like the gambling and stuff like that. There's so many avenues that you can like take advantage of certain deals and stuff that stuff kind of, I have a good time doing that. So, but I get the hesitation on shoot to win craps. I use it now as a tool to teach people, but I'd far rather be at the actual table.
Yeah, excellent. Do you have a sort of favorite place to play actual craps for the low budget player?
Oh, so here we go. So now we're getting right into this. We're getting to the greatest hits here. Cromwell on the Strip. It's you can still find $5 table, 100 times odds. Great dealers, beautiful casino. My favorite casino in Las Vegas right now.
Okay.
And then downtown, I would say probably Golden Gate or Main Street Station. Golden Gate's just a party, a lot of fun, good dealers. Main Street Station, just classic, really fun place to play.
I've not been to any of the station casinos. Is it worth a visit?
Yeah. Main Street Station, I think, is an underappreciated spot for like the standard Vegas tourist. I just don't think many know about it.
I'm a standard Vegas tourist, I think. Okay. I don't really know that much outside of what I've done and what I've heard other people talk about on various podcasts and things. Where exactly is Main Street Station? Because I'll go downtown and I will pretty much stick to everything that's beneath the canopy.
Right. So Main Street Station is, oh crap, am I thinking that it's west or it's west? Yeah, west of everything. Wow, now you're challenging my geographic. I mean, by the way, Main Street Station is not actually. Here's where it gets odd. It's not a station casino. It's a.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's a Boyd casino.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But why am I not thinking of where it is on the map? It's just north of the Plaza, just west of California. So yeah, it's west. It's got to be west.
Okay.
West side.
If you want to know where Main Street Station is, then just Google it.
Yeah,
because neither Adam or I can give you an answer.
All right. Which is sad. 78 episodes in, and I don't know where it is on Fremont Street.
Here we are. It's all come down to this. I assume you are members of, are they called slot clubs? M-Life?
Players clubs.
Clubs,
yeah,
that sort of thing.
Let's call them that.
Do you have, with that in mind, do you have a preference between MGM and Caesars?
I did. My preference was MGM only because of being in Detroit. We have an MGM property.
Oh yeah, of course. MGM Grand, right?
Yeah, MGM Grand Detroit. Then also because of the My Vegas thing, got me a bunch of free rooms because I kind of jumped on that early. Yeah. But from what I know, is that if you're looking to kind of maximize your rewards, get comps and stuff like that, that Caesars is the better property for kind of getting through that system and doing that. But I just kind of stuck to MGM because that's where I was getting the easiest access to free and reduced stuff, basically. And I'm not one of those guys that I don't concentrate my play anywhere, only because I try to go out and just have some fun. And so that's kind of hurt me, I think, too, in a bit in terms of like getting comps and stuff. But yeah.
It's like looking into a mirror. I went through the very same My Vegas, earned some points on there, get some free buffets when I never got enough for rooms. Although, maybe I did, but coming from over here, you tend to get a much better deal if you buy the flight and the room together.
Right.
From what I can see, again, I haven't really looked into it. Maybe I should ask my friend Travel Fanboy. So getting rooms through my Vegas was never really an option. But I did. Right. I've sampled some buffets, and only through freebies, and I'm quite pleased that I haven't spent any money on them.
Yeah. I would say if people are like serious about getting like free rooms and really getting rewarded, there's a lot that's out there. TravelZork does a good job with that.
Yes.
Follow any number of the Vegas, podcasts / writers or whatever, and they can kind of guide you through that. But yeah, concentrating your play, of course, is kind of the best way to do that. And there's kind of certain ways to kind of, I don't want to say game the system, but play within their rules and maximize things, if you will. I'm not that guy, only because, like I said, when I go, I know I'm only there for a couple days, and usually it's only, I'm there a couple times a year, so I want to try and get out and see and do as much as I can.
Yeah, right. Would you prefer to watch Britney's show or J-Lo's show? Have you seen either?
I've not seen either. I'm going to say J-Lo. And that is based on no information whatsoever. None. I don't even have a good reason why. I really don't. I hear what I'll say. My initial thinking was J-Lo is much more likely to be performing her songs live. I'm not saying that she does because I have no idea, but I know for a fact that Britney does not.
Cassie.
So, yeah.
That's fair enough. If you pay,
that's all.
For a musician, you want to see a musician.
Right, that's all I got for you. My wife would say Britney. She actually really wants to go see Britney, but she's not here.
And it all boils down to this. Question 10. Greatest single bit of advice you could give a Vegas first-timer on a budget?
Oh, I would say, you know what? I think just doing the research ahead of time of having some preferences of things that you'd like to do, but not locking in too many serious plans. That's not really a budget advice. Just, book in advance, try and find the best deal possible. But I see a lot of people have like way too big of itineraries, and that prevents them from just, I think the term that I always said, or the phrase I said, was like just letting Vegas happen to you, right? Yes. Where you don't want to be like in an awesome situation and then feel compelled to have to go somewhere else because you had it on your itinerary for, 4 months. Because I think that ruins like a lot of organic, fun moments that can come up there.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. We tend to pick a starting point or perhaps a zone if you split the strip up into zones of like 3 or 4 properties, and then start there and then just see what happens.
Yeah.
Generally, that's where the best times come.
Yeah, I say like one major thing a day. You know what I mean? Like a cabana one day, or like a certain meal the other day, whatever. But only do one of those a day, and then just let kind of everything play out.
Cool. Thank you very much. Bonus question: heads or tails?
Ooh, tails.
It's heads, mate. Gutted.
Dang it.
Two for me, and none for guests. So I'm just writing it down on my little scoreboard here on my desk.
We should let people know that these are not video recorded, so I have no idea what's happening.
They are not video recorded. But what does exist is maximum trust. So, right. So we're okay. We're okay.
Whatever that's worth. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
That's so you're going out in just under 2 years now. Yeah?
Yes.
What are like 2 or 3 things that you're looking forward to at this moment, knowing that it's absolutely going to change? But what are 2 things that have cropped up that you haven't seen since you last went that you're like, I really want to check that out?
I really want to do the sky jump at Stratosphere.
Okay.
That's not cropped up, but my first time we went out there, my wife did it.
Oh, nice.
And we did not, the rest of us, and I should have done. I don't know why I didn't.
Right.
I wanted to play more, and she spent an age queuing. But I think this time, I think that's something I'd like to do.
That's one of your views too, I imagine, right? That you're talking about later. Not to get too far ahead of the episode.
No, I have been up there.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll get into that later. But no, I didn't make it. Didn't make it.
Okay, interesting.
Interesting indeed. Yeah, it's mysterious, isn't it? This show.
So the views, it's not all about elevation, is what I'm gathering.
No,
okay.
It's about emotion. It's about feelings.
I see. It's what this whole podcast is about.
Exactly. It's guttural.
Yes.
other things I really want to do. You know what? I lie awake just thinking about throwing dice. That's all it is, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thinking about throwing dice. I've never played at Cromwell. There you go. Never played at Cromwell. I was aware of it last time. We just never made it to that area of the strip in the right time.
Had you been to like Bill's and Barbary before that?
No.
Okay.
Bill's, I believe, was being renovated to Cromwell the first time I went.
Okay.
So we never made it.
I think it's really it's come into its own. I wouldn't say that right at the beginning it is what it is right now, but now that they've added a sports book, I think everyone there is really well trained. It's just they've really kind of hit a stride, I think, and it's become one of kind of the best spots.
Yeah. Well, 100 times odds is enticing.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I can't afford that. Right. But I could probably stretch to 10, and there aren't many places doing 10 really either, are there? So
no, there's not too many, not on the strip.
Yeah. So that's definitely. I mean, I hear a lot about how good Cromwell is for just gambling in general, not just craps.
Yeah, and similar to your point you're talking about earlier, like you're thinking about throwing dice all the time. I think I put it on Twitter recently, but like literally like 2 or 3 times a day, I find myself thinking of Chandelier Bar at the Cosmo. And I think that lets you know that you're a Vegas obsessive when you just your mind races and you keep going back to something Vegas related.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That is, yeah. I've never played in the Cosmo either. Stayed there, visited there tons of times because it is a cracking property.
Yeah, I've got an article that I'm doing coming up where I say, and you're getting so many exclusives today, it's amazing. That I think Chandelier Bar is the best bar in Las Vegas because you can gamble there. It's not great odds in their video poker. It is what it is. But great cocktails with great service. You're in the hottest casino on the strip, and it's just dynamite people watching. And for me, that's like all the reasons I go to Las Vegas. I want to gamble a little bit. I want to have some good drinks, and I just want to enjoy the show. And to me, that's the perfect spot to do it, and right in the center of the strip in the best casino. And
if you want to look at a wall of sewing machines, then you can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That kind of brings our brief liaison to an end, doesn't it?
I think it does. I will say I've had, if you want to include this, one hot dog in Las Vegas.
Oh.
And that was Nathan's at the Luxor in their little food court there. And so, again, if we're just based on my experiences, that is the best hot dog in Las Vegas.
Do you want to know what the best hot dog in Las Vegas is, in my opinion?
What's that?
Based on the hot dogs that I've had in Vegas. It's the Nathan's at the food court in MGM Grand.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
They're just, they're running a train through this category. Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks very much for spending time talking to me.
Of course.
It's very much appreciated. And hopefully people will enjoy it.
Yeah, I hope to be back on at some point.
Yeah. I think the dream is that this convinces my wife that it's worthwhile booking a trip after the next one, because I've now got people who are expectant that I provide them with ramblings every 3 to 4 weeks.
Right, and that clock, that countdown's going to start over. And
exactly.
We can't have an open-ended countdown.
No. It'll just be season 2, 10,478 days to Vegas.
Right. Well, I think you have a lot of people anticipating September of 2019 quite a bit. I'm one of them, so keep us posted to when those dates actually come to fruition, because I think you're going to get a lot of like LA-based people that might be coming up for the weekend.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. That would be, as I've mentioned before, it would be an absolute dream come true to meet people that I've met through doing this. Actually in person, to do whatever, drink some beers, throw some dice.
They're all gonna like be buying you hot dogs. That's gonna be the joke that weekend, because they're not gonna like buy you your drinks or anything like that, or shots or whatever. It's gonna be a round of hot dogs.
I don't even like hot dogs that much.
Man, you did this to yourself.
Excellent. So, would you care to give us a bit of an insight as to what your new project is going to be about?
Yeah, I just decided to kind of pivot the Vegas Fanboy website and just kind of more general. So now, as you kind of alluded to earlier, it's just Travel Fanboy, but just talking about budget travel in general, kind of taking advantage of points, not so much points, but like looking at like credit card offers and stuff like that. And I talk about doing that responsibly, understanding how that kind of impacts your credit score, at least here in the U.S. I have no idea what credit even looks like for you guys, but Yeah, talk about that. Talk about different destinations, things like that. Just kind of my own travel exploits as they kind of come up. But I think, in my perspective, when I look at the travel websites that are out there now, it's like, you open up a magazine, it's like, like a Condé Nast or something like that, and it's these are like rooms and things that you're never going to be able to afford, right? It's like, oh, you can just like go to the Maldives for the weekend and you've got this private resort. I'm like, yeah, well,
Okay.
I'm not really going to do that. Or on the flip side, it's like people that are, they're walking around Bangkok trying to only spend like $1.87 a day. I'm like, that's not me either. Like, I don't want to be uncomfortable. But I also don't want to spend, a mortgage, a couple months mortgage payments on a room a night. So I think trying to fill that niche a little bit, just talking about just travel in general, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure everybody else is looking forward to it. Provide you with a nice, well, certainly a massive canvas to expand.
Yes.
You've been limiting yourself so badly the last 3 years.
Right. Yeah, I do have to warn people. It's not a lot of. It won't be very Vegas centric. You will know though that anytime I'm talking about a certain location, that in the back of my mind, I'll always be wishing that place was Vegas though. And I'll be sure to do a couple hot dog reviews when I get around to it and stuff.
Good. Someone actually needs to do that.
Right. Yeah. We call that cross promotion.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks very much for inadvertently inspiring me to have a crack at this.
Hey, of course.
Thanks very much for your 78 episodes, which no longer need to be listened to by anybody.
No, of course
not. You know
not.
what? I'd aimed to condense them down into sort of 15, 20 minutes of 10 questions, but actually that last question, greatest single bit of advice, is condense the whole thing down into about 30 seconds.
I think so.
I guess my job here is done. I've appeared.
Yeah.
I've destroyed your legacy. We're happy and we're just, parting as friends, but know that I'm the victor and...
I will say this, you will be the victor. You have to one-up me in one way, which is you have to get all your listeners free drinks somewhere. That's the only way that you can one-up me at this point.
Yeah, all right. I will do that. I will do that for you, and I will do that for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Or free hot dogs. Free hot dogs, I think, would probably work too. There you go. That would be
free hot dogs would be the one.
So you got to get on that homework assignment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. And when I've done that, you can come back on and we can talk about that.
Deal.
And that's the end of that conversation. You think my editing skills will get better the more I do this, but alas. Anyway, who wants to hear my top 5?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, this week on the top 5 we're going to be discussing Vegas views. This topic was suggested by Twitter user @JamesHindle, so thanks very much for your input. If you can create a similar kind of seismic shift in the Vegas Fanboy show by suggesting something to me, hit me up on Twitter with suggestions of your own. Until James got in touch, this week's top 5 was going to be my top 5 porn slappers, but I already lowered the tone enough with my love of swear words. Sorry, Mum. In at number 5, we have, and imagine this as I say it, a view of half the Mandalay Bay, all of the Luxor, and 3/4 of the Excalibur. Where does one find such a view, you ask? And indeed, why was it so great that it makes my top 5 this week? Well, when I flew into McCarran for the very first time 4 years ago, I was on the wrong side of the plane to see any of the strip. I got no strip view. I got no real view of anything, actually, from my aisle seat over the wing. But as we started to taxi to the gate, I caught a glimpse of the aforementioned 2.25 MGM properties that make up the south end of the strip. I can only liken the feeling to when I was a kid and I met Chad Smith, the drummer from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was fucking starstruck. Here at last were all these larger-than-life cartoon-like buildings that I'd seen so much on TV and on the internet. The overwhelming feeling of fuck yeah is enough to qualify this for the top 5 spot. Dropping 2 places to number 4 is the view of the entire strip from the Voodoo Lounge at the top of the Rio. My wife and I ventured over to the Rio to watch Penn and Teller one night and had a bit of time to kill, so I decided to go up to the Voodoo Lounge for a drink. This was a kind of 2-part view because the panorama at the top of the building is phenomenal, Mandalay Bay to your far right, all the way over to the stratosphere on your far left. But the added bonus is the trip up to the Voodoo Lounge in the glass elevator that goes up the outside of the Rio Tower. So that adds a little bit of irregular excitement to the whole deal as well. I've also heard that the Witch Doctor cocktails up there are amazing, so maybe I can try one when I'm next out there, and then I'll go back to episode 1 and read you the Vegas Fanboy top 5 cocktails when I get back. Debuting at number 3 is the main tower fountain view rooms at Bellagio. Anywhere high up on the outskirts of what I'll call the centre strip fountain bowl has a great view. but these rooms are front and centre. There is absolutely nothing blocking your view of the fountains from the main Bellagio tower. Couple that with the exceptional finish of the rooms and my own personal life goal of staying at Bellagio being ticked off the list, it took until the third trip, and it was the sixth and last hotel I've managed to stay in so far. I absolutely fucking adore that place. Talking of Bellagio, there is only one thing that could make that view better. So, climbing 7 places to the number 2 spot in this week's chart is the view from any northside wraparound suite at the Cosmopolitan. The higher the better. While this is similar to the fountain view room we had at Bellagio, you can actually see the Bellagio. It's much like the fact that the view from Rockefeller Center in New York City is better than the view from the Empire State Building, because you can actually see the Empire State Building from the top of Rockefeller. The Cosmopolitan, while certainly not a blemish on the centre strip, isn't iconic yet, and Bellagio is so famous and so iconic that I'd much rather have it in my eyeline. Another plus the Cosmo has over the Bellagio is that you can also see all the way down to the north end of the strip, to Mirage, to Treasure Island, to the tops of Venetian and Palazzo, views that are blocked by Caesar's Palace if you're at our room in Bellagio. The addition of a balcony is also a massive plus. Why would you want to put your eyes through the hassle of looking through glass? Who wants to look through glass when they can look through air? You might call it lazy, I call it convenient. And finally, hitting the number 1 spot, drumroll please, ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. The accidental helicopter tour of the strip that we lucked into when we took a Maverick helicopter trip over to the Grand Canyon. On the way back from the canyon, we had to circumnavigate a rather large storm. This was an absolute peach of an occurrence because not only had the storm in the desert delayed our return to after dark, but it diverted us north, and as a result, we had to approach McCarran from the north end of Las Vegas instead of the usual approach from the east. This last 15 minutes trumped absolutely everything that had happened since we'd taken off 4 hours before. Fuck Mother Nature and her gaping canyon. Fuck the Hoover Dam. Fuck the endless beautiful scenery. If you are going to take a trip on a helicopter in Vegas, make it the strip tour. We hovered so close to the top of the stratosphere that we could actually wave at the people on top. And they waved back. We were so close that I could literally lip read one woman saying, "Oh my God, Chris, I wish I was up there with you right now. Also, I love your accent." I haven't got a fucking clue how she knew my name. Maybe she worked at Ellis Island. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed this week's top 5. If you were wondering about the lack of stratosphere, it's a decent view, but I only went up there during the day and the visibility wasn't perfect, so yeah, whatever. As a side note, for anyone who is sad I didn't actually cover porn slappers today, my top porn slapper is the one that stands in the middle of the sidewalk outside Mirage and slows down the foot traffic. I fucking love that man. What a guy. As always, let me know on Twitter if you've got any views you think should have made the top 5, and likewise, if you've got anything you'd like me to top 5 in the future, give me a shout. The Twitter handle is @VegasBunBoy, surprisingly. Let's get into gambling around the world.
Born in London in 84, a podcast named Vegas Bunboy. He loves to talk, but he loves one thing more: gambling round the world.
This week we travel to Tallinn in Estonia. Tallinn is a city of 2 personalities. The old town is wonderfully warm, the beer is cheap and the locals are welcoming. The rest of the place is dark, grey, bleak and industrial. Exactly what you'd expect from this part of the world. Myself and 15 friends went to Tallinn, much like we did Prague last episode, to drink, gamble and watch sexy ladies take their clothes off. For this was the occasion of my own stag weekend. I had specifically suggested to my best men that we needed to visit a casino, and they hadn't disappointed, with an organised trip on the Saturday night to the Olympic Casino on the outskirts of the city. Tallinn has a number of casinos, and gambling is quite a popular pastime in Estonia. We arrived at the casino and were greeted by our host for the evening, who quickly crossed our palms with 1 drinks voucher and 1 €2 free play voucher for the slots. €2. It's hardly worth the paper it's printed on, literally. Which was the opinion of everyone in the party. So we decided to pool everything into the first slot machine we saw, which was something to do with a family of anthropomorphic bears who lived in a cabin in the woods. Nothing was in English and none of us understood slot machines. So in went the €30 and we just started spinning. On the second spin, we hit a bonus round called Feed the Bears, in which the father bear had to grab as many salmon from the river as he could to feed his family. As Daddy Bear was frantically fishing and the credits were shooting upwards and upwards, a small murmur of "Feed the bears, feed the bears" began to engulf the group. That hungry old bear just wasn't stopping, and pretty soon the chanting of Feed the Bears had filled the entire casino. We weren't doing a very good job of trying to quash the Brits abroad stereotype, but who gives a shit? Those bears needed feeding, and we were going to support this working father as best we could. Eventually, the bonus round ended, and still we had no clue what we were betting and how much the credits were worth, so we immediately cashed out. The machine spat out a slip and revealed we had turned our €30 very quickly into over 450. There is nothing like free money for a group's morale to hit its peak. We cashed it in, each of us receiving €30, and off to the tables we did trot. We grabbed our complimentary drinks and explored the casino further. It's a nice casino, modern looking, well lit, but not overbearingly bright. A few of us took to the blackjack table, the rest to their trusty roulette wheel. After a good 2 hours and a win of a few €100, we were due to leave to move on to some extracurricular activities. On a side note, Tallinn doesn't have any proper strip clubs to speak of that we could find. There are places that resemble them, but it's really not the innocent fun we were looking for. I came home empty-lapped and empty-handed from a boob perspective. Anyway, on the way out of the casino, I found the guys at the roulette table, and they had also had some good luck. Black €100 chips filled all of our pockets at this point, so why not? I dropped €100 on black. I was joined by my friends Ben and Kevin, and together we had €300 riding on the black half of the wheel. Our group had gathered round to watch as the wheel spun, and the chant of Feed the Bears slowly and steadily built again. And feed them we did once more. The ball dropped into black 17. We erupted into a ridiculously loud cheer, a load of drinks went up in the air, and the weekend was paid for in the space of a few hours. Feed the Bears has now become a group rallying cry. Every time we need a bit of luck or something to go our way. As an example, my good friend, I've got a job interview in the morning. Ah, good for you. What's the job?
Well, it's for a chimney sweep position of the Great Hall in the village.
Oh, good stuff, mate. You go feed those bears.
Making bets and winning money and gambling round the world.
And that brings us to the end of episode 3. Thank you very much for listening this far if you've managed it. Thank you very much to Adam at Vegas Fanboy for joining me and talking about lots of different stuff. It was very interesting. I very much look forward to your new project coming out in January 2018. If you've lost him in all the melee of him transferring from Vegas Fanboy to Travel Fanboy, it's just at Travel Fanboy on Twitter. He still displays as Vegas Fanboy, so you probably pick him up in a search that way. It's been an honour to have such a legend of the Vegas podcasting world on my shitty little show. Finally, look out for the Vegas Bumboy Christmas special coming this side of Christmas. I promise it will get you in the spirit for the upcoming holiday season. If you want to join the conversation online, I'm at Vegas Bumboy on Twitter. I still have no other means of social media, and I'm probably not going to ever do that. If you're listening on a web browser and you want to take me in your pocket, you can get me on any podcast app that exists, I believe. And if you're listening in your pocket and you want to listen to me on your web browser, you can get me on any web browser podcast app that exists, I believe. You can write to me at vegasbunboy@gmail.com with any comments or suggestions. And finally, thank you very much if you've left me an iTunes review. I really appreciate it. It actually keeps me going. Every time I show my wife a new review, she looks at me like I'm an idiot, but it excites me to my very core, and I cannot thank you enough. I'll catch you next time. Look out for the Christmas special. See you in a couple of weeks. Cheers! This has been a Feed the Bears production. Rawr.